This episode of the Good Living Now podcast is sponsored by our friends at Kuvings. Now, I've tried many cold pressed juices over the years, but the Kuvings Auto10 has truly simplified my routine. Now, my personal experience is that it's simple to operate and quick to clean. Now, with the Auto10, I can make everything from nice cream to morning smoothies to sorbets, and I can even make plant-based milk. Now, if you'd like to give it a try, use my affiliate code JUICEGUY at checkout to save 10% on Kuvings. All right, go ahead, grab your fresh produce and get your juice on. So today I want to talk about something that's important to me, but it's important to a lot of people. Now at 58, one of the things that is really important is healthy aging. Now, a lot of times when we think about aging, a lot of times people think about declining and losing vitality, but it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. But I know a lot of us think it, particularly when you are over 40 or even 50, you start thinking that you're going to get certain conditions. You're thinking about high blood pressure, arthritis, things like that. But trust me, it doesn't have to be that way. And one of the most important parts of healthy aging is nutrition. And why does nutrition matter? Well, it matters because as we age, the body does change. Our metabolism slows down. We start to lose muscle mass. And we start to be more prone to chronic diseases. And so what we put in our bodies really matters. And so for me, one of the things that I do regularly is I eat salads because salads can be packed with so much nutrition. For example, like kale. Now, kale is packed with calcium. Now, I know when we think about calcium, we think about milk. Nah, you don't need milk. You can get your calcium from vegetables like kale and spinach. And then things like red onions are packed with antioxidants. And we know antioxidants are good because they help to improve our immune system. And onions are so good. And you can just add them to a salad like I'm doing. And then purple cabbage is good to reduce inflammation in the body. So get you some cabbage. And you know, I remember growing up as a kid, I remember as people would get older, I would see people getting older, like maybe over 40. And it was this common belief that, you know, you were just going to get some kind of chronic illness like high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. I remember back in the day, they used to call it getting sugar. And it's like my mother and her friends would talk about, oh, you know, such and such got sugar now, or such and such got high blood pressure. It was like it was rites of passage of getting older. And it was like we normalized decline and disease as a part of aging. And that just doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be when we fuel our bodies with food that nourish our bodies, real food, not that processed stuff, not stuff with a whole lot of chemicals in it, whole foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Those are the things that really fuel our bodies. And healthy doesn't have to taste bland or boring. It's all about what you season it with. It's just like, you know, the foods that you eat. You don't put no seasoning on it, it ain't gonna taste good. So it's all about what you season it with. And like with salads, you can add some nice herbs and some nice seasoning and give it some flavor that's really delicious, like the one that we're making today. And one of the things that I like to put on my salads is nutritional yeast. So I like nutritional yeast because it's a good source of protein and it has that cheesy flavor. And so it tastes like cheese, but you don't have all of the side effects of dairy, you know, the inflammation, those kind of things that we don't want in our bodies. And it's high in vitamin B12, which is so important for energy. And like a salad like I'm making here, you don't even need dressing. Well, I guess you could call the avocado oil dressing. But once you mix all those ingredients, I added some Italian seasoning and some cumin and that nutritional yeast and this avocado oil. You don't need no dressing. And with kale, this is a kale salad that I'm making. And you want to massage the kale. That's going to soften it up and it's going to make it more digestible for your system. And you know, it's never too late to change how you eat and how you feel your body and to get healthier. I know a lot of times people think, well, I've been eating this way 40, 50 years. Well, you can start today, and you can start as soon as your next meal. And here's the thing, I always say the easiest way to get started to eating healthy is to start eating salads. Now, just throw you some lettuce together, put some vegetables, some seasoning. Don't start adding that stuff that's not healthy, like we talked about before, like cheese and dairy. You want to eat foods that have anti-inflammatory properties, like fruits, vegetables, and like we said, nuts and seeds. And you get all of that in a salad. And that's easy to do, right? That's easy. People always ask me about protein. Now, protein is important because protein is important for muscle building. And so I'm adding chickpeas because they're a good source of protein. Now, also, you can add beans, lentils. Those are all good sources of plant-based protein. So you don't have to have meat all the time. You can add you some beans or even some nuts that are also high in plant-based protein. And another source of protein that I love are hemp seeds. And hemp seeds are high in potassium. And we know potassium is good for your blood pressure. Also, they're high in zinc as well as copper. Now we know food can be the most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. Now this right here, this is a powerful form of medicine. Look at all that goodness. And here's what I've learned. The choices we make today are going to impact our tomorrow. So if we eat better today, our tomorrow will be a lot healthier. All right, so go ahead and grab you a salad and get your health on.